What's up, everybody? Thanks for tuning in to another episode of my weekly vlog. We are back at Night Owl Performance doing more maintenance to my car. You might be wondering why my car is basically always on the lift. And even though it only does like 100 miles per year, this stuff gets worn out real fast. So today we are checking out the slave cylinder. We're gonna pull the transmission down, check out the slave cylinder. It was kind of like sticking off throttle. My clutch was sticking off throttle at the last Clutch Kickers event. So I'm gonna get up there, replace the slave cylinder. My rear main seal leaks sometimes. They generally last about 1 week before they start leaking. I don't know why. I just can't get a rear main seal to seal anything in this motor. I've had about 6 in it. And we're gonna replace the pilot bearing, check out the clutch, and do all the necessary maintenance while the transmission's out. And I really hate pulling the transmission, so I hope we can get it right. My clutch isn't so toasted that I gotta rebuild it or replace it. I think we found something. We haven't gotten that far into it. That pilot bearing's not supposed to be there. Builds. What are you talking about?
Yeah. Did you see Blake builds?
Oh, I don't know. That clutch looks a little okay, actually. It's got a chunk out of one side there.
Yeah, that happens.
Doesn't look too bad though, actually.
I think she's got some life left. Well, I mean, really. Yeah, I mean, between the pad and the bun, there's still plenty of life.
I think it's okay. Final side looks fine. What do you guys think? Good or no good? Because it's going back in. Oh yeah, this is the pilot bearing. It just kind of falls out sometimes. We made another amazing discovery. If you look, yeah, my pilot bearing just fell out, but there's like no oil leaking from the rear main seal. Like there's just like oil residue. There's not like oil pouring out of it, and there is oil like way up here. So we're thinking it's that guy. There's like a sensor that I use to do oil temperature right there. And we're pretty sure that's the guy that's leaking. There's a little crush washer in there and it might just need to be tightened, but we're pretty sure that guy's the culprit. The oil leak that I had this time was really strange. Like it had really strange characteristics. So like if we let the car idle, it didn't pour oil until it was hot and it was idling for like, I don't know, 30 minutes or so. And then you start revving it up, it would like shoot out. And we're thinking that's because it was actually leaking out the top of the engine from that sensor. So we're going to try to just tighten it down for now. I got to take the intake manifold off to actually replace that crush washer. But we'll try to tighten it down now, and if it still leaks, then we'll look at replacing that crush washer. Yeah, it's loose. You can actually just put this tiny little crow's foot on here, and it just turns back and forth. So I'm just going to go ahead and tighten that and hope that that was all my leaking issues. I'm not even going to replace that rear main seal because it's not leaking. And in this case, with LS rear main seals, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So I think it's much more likely to leak if I replace it than if I don't replace it. We were able to get a little 22 wrench that was cut in half up there and tighten it pretty good. And I think it's good. We're just gonna give her a little bath. Make sure, you know, if it leaks again, we can see it. So instead of buying the Collins pilot bearing every time I need a pilot bearing, I found a part number at the local O'Reilly's that is the right size. It just has the wrong inner diameter, and it's this right here. It's like 10 bucks at O'Reilly's. I just drill the center out with a 5/8 bit to fit the CD009 input shaft. So you can see it right there in the drill press. So I drill it one way and then the other way like that because I want it to sit flat against the bottom of the clamp so I don't drill it crooked or anything. And I just do it almost all the way down from one side, and then I do the last little bit on the other side to keep it straight through the pilot bearing and not cock it in any way. Honestly, the hole probably self-centers it pretty well anyway, and I don't clamp the clamp to the table, so it's probably okay to not do that, but I like to play it safe. Put them in the freezer for a little bit so that they shrink, and you can just kind of slide them into the crank and then they heat up again and expand, and you don't have to do much hammering that way. It is just brass. I can't remember when I put this slave in, if I did it when I did this JK41 or what. I think it's probably either a year old or a year and a half old, but it's lived a rough life and it's time to end its misery. So as you can see, I got to swap a few parts over here. I got AN lines coming out of my, well, I guess this is stock one, the one I'm using. And this one's got like the stock stuff coming off it. So we got to unscrew this, push this pin out, push the adapter fitting in, and push this pin in, and screw this AN line in. And here's a new slave sitting back on her home on the Collins adapter. I'm not sure what was going on with the other one, but I'm pretty sure it was no good. Like when I would, you know, start going forward in the car, then I would leave the car in gear, let the clutch out, the car would move forward, and then I would push the clutch back in, leave it in gear, not pull it into neutral. The clutch like stuck. There was some terrible noises happening. So it wasn't completely disengaging, so I think this just had some issue. I think it just wore out. These slaves don't have a reputation for being good at all. So everything I read about these is basically replace it every time your transmissions is out. Nailed it! Alright, so I got the clutch back in, the bell housing on, we got the pilot bearing in there where it's supposed to be. Just got to bolt the bell housing down and put the transmission back up. Alright guys, we got the car all buttoned up, new slave cylinder, tighten that sensor, and I guess that's it. New brake fluid. Car's all buttoned up, it's back on the ground. We had a bit of a scare, so the first time we put it on the ground, the clutch wouldn't disengage at all, and we couldn't understand why, so we put it back up in the air. We tried bleeding the slave more, then we tried taking my phone and making a video of the slave cylinder actually engaging and disengaging, and it was engaging and disengaging, so we don't know why the clutch was not disengaging. But I just got back in the car and pushed the clutch down and it worked. So I'm not sure if it had to break free of between the pressure plate and the flywheel or what, but I've always had kind of this weird problem where if I rev the car up with the clutch in gear, it will actually move forward. And I talked to the guys that made the clutch and they didn't really have a good answer for it, honestly. Maybe I won't do that anymore, but at least it's working and I don't have to take the transmission out. I was afraid I put the clutch disc in backwards or something like that. It's working now, so I'm gonna go take it for a test rip and make sure it's all right. If you like content like this, please consider subscribing. Hit the like button if you like this video. Tell your friends about my channel and leave a comment if you got something to say. Thanks for watching.